Hi, y'all. Welcome to episode 4 of my cooking show, making it look harder than it is, with your host, me. Sometimes I get my own catchphrase mixed up. Anyway, we're coming to you once again from my kitchen over my left shoulder. I don't know if the resolution is good enough for you to see that, but that's a photo of the late, great Anthony Bourdain, who's a huge inspiration to me, and it will hang in my kitchen forever to bless my culinary endeavors. Today I'm going to make my first vegetarian dish for you guys. I have threatened this before and now I'm finally doing it. I had to learn how to cook vegetarian because my partner, there was nothing wrong with him except for the fact that he didn't eat meat for the first 3 years of our relationship. So I had to learn how to feed him well without any meat. I feel like a good principle for vegetarian cooking is you're not substituting anything, you're not doing without anything. It's a good recipe without any meat in it, and it's not a second rate or a substitute or just throw some tofu in it kind of a deal. It's a good recipe on the face of it, and it's just vegetables. So this is a fancy vegetarian recipe too. It's fancy, but it's not hard. See, goes with the theme of my show. So say if, one of these days you were allowed to have somebody over for dinner and they were vegetarian and you were like, oh great, I don't know what to make for a vegetarian besides salad. Well, you can make them this. It's Portobello au Poivre, and I am sure I am mangling that pronunciation. And buddy, I am not talking to you. Thank you very much. It is portobello mushrooms with a creamy, oniony, peppery gravy. I always serve it with mashed potatoes because the sauce that you make for it is perfect over top of mashed potatoes. And I showed you how to make mashed potatoes in episode 1. So you can't tell me that you don't know how to make mashed potatoes because I already taught you that. This would go well with any of the desserts that I've shown you so far. The galette or the cobbler, probably one of the galettes would be really classy and you could put on a nice spread. I usually serve it with either asparagus on the side or sometimes a green salad. Tonight I'm feeling tired and lazy because it's the 365th day of quarantine and I'm going to make a green salad with it. So to start with, you have 2 portobello mushroom caps if you're going to feed 2 people. If you're going to feed more people, get more mushroom caps. This basically takes the place of a steak. Think about it as that's your main piece right there. That's the steak part of it. You're going to cut up 1 shallot. Now, again, in my first episode, I explained to you the magic of the shallot. They're these little weird brownish purplish onions that you find in the grocery. They're usually next to the fresh ginger. And I've chopped one of those up already. They're a really pungent onion. You really do not need more of these than a little dab because they are really powerful. I'm standing here over top of the one that I cut and I'm trying not to sneeze because they're really smelly. But they do add a lot of really good flavor to a dish. You're going to need butter and you're going to need heavy cream because, again, we don't do fat-free around here. And this recipe, the original one that I found years and years ago when I first decided I wanted to cook something fancy that was vegetarian, called for peach brandy. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't really keep peach brandy in my house. I don't keep a lot of alcohol in my house. I've barely drank since lockdown started, but I do keep certain things in the house. Peach brandy really is just a sweeter alcohol, so I'm going to sub out American Honey by Wild Turkey. Not a sponsor, although they could be. For that, it's 2 tablespoons. It's a very small amount. If you're alcohol free and you don't have any booze in your house, don't worry about that part. I'm sure you could probably make this and it'd be plenty good without the alcohol part. It's just a fancy little thing that you do in the pan. I'm not even sure of the philosophy on it because, again, I'm not a professional chef. I'm just somebody who likes to cook and happens to be fairly good at it. So, here we go. Portobello au Poivre. Without further ado. So the first thing you do, and this is a tricky one because I've got my new setup here and there's a lot of pan work on this one. The prep work is the easy part. The pan is where the work comes in. First thing you're going to do is you're going to clean off your 2 mushroom steaks like this, and you're going to bring them over here, and I'll try to show you what's going on in my pan. I got a pan that's coated with olive oil. I'm going to put that on medium high, good frying temperature. I'm going to let that get pretty hot right there. And you're going to actually put the mushrooms in the pan, top down at first. And I'm going to run over here and get my tongs because I forgot them. And a little plate for them too. Okay. So, you're going to cook these like you would cook, anything in a pan. You're going to fry them for about 5 or so minutes aside. Let them start getting soft. And really what you're doing with the cooking of the mushroom part is you're kind of putting that good mushroomy essence into the pan. Everything builds off of one another. You've got your first layer of the olive oil, then you've got your second layer of the mushroom essence, if you will. It's a term. And then you're going to add your onions and your pepper. Oh, that's the other thing. The original recipe that I found for this ages and ages ago when I first made it called for green peppercorns in brine. Well, let me let you in on a little secret. Kroger don't sell those. I've never been able to find them. Now, if I went to Jungle Jim's, I probably could find them. But I'm not doing that right now because, again, I can't step foot inside of a grocery store currently. So what I have done over the years is I have replaced the green peppercorns with a cracked black pepper. It's a really strong version of pepper. You could use regular pepper if that's all you've got. You don't have to overthink it. It's basically just a pepperier sauce for this. And you don't need to go overboard with it. And if you don't like pepper or you're allergic to it or something, leave it off. But I use the coarse ground black pepper for this since I have never found a green peppercorn ever. Anyway, so you cook them on one side for a few minutes. You'll start to hear them sizzle. Then you cook them on the other side for a few minutes. It's super exciting. Beans is their mushrooms and not steak. They do cook pretty fast. You don't need more than 5 to 7 minutes on this first part where you're cooking them. And actually, that's why you turn up the heat real high, because they cook pretty quick. So, yeah, we're just cooking. Oh, and you'll notice I got potatoes boiling already. And I didn't do what I did the first time I showed you how to make them. I actually remembered how to put the water in the pan. Isn't that interesting? So, I just cook these until I feel them start to soften up. Which, like I said, it takes about 5 to 7 minutes for that part of things. If you hadn't yet chopped up your shallot, this would be a good time to do that. I don't have any interstitial Jeopardy music that I can play without fear of a copyright violation from YouTube, so you're just going to have to listen to me babble while these mushrooms cook. So anyway, I had to work real hard to get in the mood to cook today. Well, I'll tell you, I've been in the house about 60 days. I don't know about you, but it's getting a little old. I love my house. I love my partner. I love my cats. But there's a limit. I've really started to feel it lately. I imagine you have too. The other thing we've been dealing with around here where I live is it's cold. It is the middle of May, and I have had to seriously consider turning my furnace on. I am morally opposed to this. I should not have to turn my furnace on in the middle of May. I disagree heartily with what the weather is doing right now. It ain't helping. Plus, no sun. You don't be stuck inside. At least it could be pretty. So when you look out the window at the whirlpool, you see something nice. No. Gray and cold. Thanks, universe. Now, I don't know about y'all, but universe owes me a few things after this spring. I'll tell you that much. Anyway, at least my neighbors are being quiet today, because that's been the other fun part of quarantine is my neighbors. Boy, oh boy, they like to make noise. And is it ever hard to try to work out of your house when you've got either construction noise on one side or I don't even know what the hell goes on over there. So, yeah, it's been real. It's been fun. So, cook these mushrooms, like I said, for about 5 minutes, a few minutes aside. See now, I put them back in at the end too, so they can kind of marry with the sauce. You don't have to get them fully cooked at the very beginning, just mostly cooked. And again, they're mushrooms, so they're going to go pretty quick. It's not like cooking a steak or a piece of meat. That's the other thing that makes this recipe so quick, and it's why I've got my potatoes boiling already, because it's actually probably going to take the potatoes longer than it does to make the mushrooms. Now, I've pulled my mushrooms out and I've set them aside because now we're going to make the pan sauce. Now here is where it gets real good and interesting. You take a tablespoon of butter or thereabouts. I usually use a little bit extra because I'm me and I like butter. And then you take the shallot that you have so elegantly minced earlier. And again, I've already told y'all, I'm not one for knife skills. Nobody needed to see that. Okay? Put that in there. And you start to cook it. And the pan's already pretty hot, so your butter's going to go up pretty quick. And there's little bits of mushroom in there, and that's fine, that's good. That all adds to the flavor. You want to cook these shallots? Man, again, I'm going to say it again. I wish you guys could smell this stuff as I cook it, because man, it smells really good. Put the butter, put the shallots. I do a little bit of salt at this point. This is the base of the sauce we're going to do. Okay? We're making our gravy now. So this is getting brown. The next thing you do, like I said, if you happen to have green peppercorns and brine in your house, well, more power to it. This is where you'd add them. If you don't, if you're like me and you just have regular pepper, well, that's when you put the regular pepper in. Woo! That smells. But it doesn't matter. You got this real strong base with these onions and this pepper, and you think, whoo, buddy, boy, that's a lot. But you're going to temper it with some other stuff, and it's going to be really good. So, at this point, those have browned up really quickly. Now, this is where it gets dangerous. Turn your vent on, if you haven't done so already. Turn the heat down. Now, when you turn the heat down, you turn it down way low. You don't need to be that hot. Okay? We've got our brown shallots, our olive oil in here. We've got our ventilator on. We've said our prayers, and now we're going to put the whiskey in. Apparently alcohol is flammable. Who knew? Okay. So, 2 tablespoons of a sweet whiskey or a sweet brandy if you happen to keep that in your house. Put it in the pan, real slow. Woo! See what it does? Kind of loses mine a little bit. Put that in there. Stir that around. And boy, howdy, does that ever smell good. Woo! Man, it really does. I should have been doing that with wild turkey all the time. So, you're going to turn it back up. There we go. And this is when you're going to add your ½ cup of cream. I just kind of pour it in there kind of slowly. Like this. Mix it in. You're going to get a sauce that's a nice, light, tannish maybe. With your pepper and your booze and your browned onions in there. At this point, this is when I put the mushrooms back in the pan. I turn the heat back down. And I let this simmer together until the potatoes are ready to mash and the dinner is ready to serve. And that is it. That is Portobello au Poivre. It's fancy looking as hell. I mean, and it is highly flammable. But you know, it's really that easy to get something that good. And like I said, I put the mushrooms back in the pan so their essence can kind of come into there. This sauce will thicken kind of as you let it kind of simmer together. And I like to let the sauce kind of soak into the mushrooms too as they cook. I'm sure there's a chef somewhere who would tell me I'm doing something wrong, but I ain't cooking for them, I'm cooking for you. So that's how you make the Portobello au Poivre. And when this whole dinner is done, I'm going to show it to you on the plate. I wish I could feed it to you in person, but I can't. But that's why you can make it and you can enjoy it at home, and you can leave me a comment on my YouTube, which I got brave enough to make public this week, and tell me what you thought of it. All right, we'll be back in a few with a finished dinner. And we are back. It took about, I don't know, 10-15 more minutes for those mushrooms to just kind of sit in the pan and soak up the magic of the sauce and vice versa, while I went and mashed the potatoes and made us a nice cream salad here to go with it. I'm about to put the finishing touch on these plates, which is this sauce. So here's what your sauce looks like coming out of the pan. It's like this gray-brown, gravy-looking thing with the shallots in it. I make a little well and I put it on top of my mashed potatoes, like that. And then I put it on top of the Portobello mushroom, like that. And see how nice and pretty that looks? And boy, oh boy, when you put that on your Instagram feed, people are going to think you're a real chef. And that is the whole premise behind my show, making it look harder than it is. This wasn't as hard as it would look like. You saw me do it, me personally do it, without setting the kitchen on fire. How hard could it be? Obviously, it's not that hard. So you serve this up, you serve a nice dessert, and bing, bang, boom, you got a beautiful dinner, and it's vegetarian. There's no meat. So it's not vegan, because I'm sorry, I've only ever made one good vegan dish my whole life, and it was a vegan chocolate mousse, which I might try to show you someday because it's actually really good, and you don't know that it's vegan. But vegan cooking is where I kind of draw the line. I'm sorry, vegans. I apologize. Please don't judge me. So anyway, yeah, there it is. Portobello au poivre, a nice fancy vegetarian dish that takes about 20 minutes, start to finish. Serve it with some mashed potatoes and a salad. You've got a beautiful dinner. I hope y'all are doing well, and I hope you're not dealing with fighting cats like I am right now. So anyway, that's it. That's episode 4 with a cameo by Piddles and Buddy, since they decided they needed to show up and be loud again today. And there you go. We'll see you next time when I'm not sure what I'm going to make for you. It's either going to be a Thai shrimp or a dessert my grandmother used to make or whatever else I think of. I'll see where the mood takes me. Happy cooking, happy eating. See y'all later.